Hey guys! I'm going to answer a few of the most commonly asked questions / comments, and I have them here on my computer. So where does the TV go? It doesn't. Jason and I wanted to have a space where we could focus on each other and focus on our lives and focus on adventure and outdoorsy things, so we decided not to have a TV. We do have the laptop that I'm using right now, and we can watch Netflix and Amazon Prime, and we do that up in the loft. We actually have plenty of space for a really large TV in the loft if we just bolted it to the floor of the loft, and it could actually swivel around, which is what we had thought about doing, so we could see it from down here and up upstairs. But really having a TV in the center of a space that's supposed to be about being outdoors and spending time with each other and focusing on more important things, having it in the center just doesn't feel right. So we decided not to do that. All right. Do you give tours? Yes, I do give tours when I'm home. And I do call this home, even though technically I don't live here officially. I do spend a lot of time here. I feel very at home here. I do give tours. People are often trying to sneak up on the back porch and taking photos, and every now and then I get the two hands coming above the window and then a little peek as people try and jump up to see inside the windows. And I wave at them and they turn white because they're so nervous about getting caught, which I think is really sweet. Actually, I always give people tours, but there are some days where I have to turn people down or ask them to come back later. I usually have them come back during dinner time because if I'm going to be home cooking, it doesn't matter if they come anytime during that. And I'm definitely going to be home. I don't have to sit there waiting for them. And I really enjoy giving tours. I love sharing my home. I love people's excitement about the tiny house movement. It's really nice. People are really nice and have a lot of compliments for the home. And yeah, it makes me proud of my tiny. You know, I feel like my tiny has a little bit of a life of its own and sort of has a personality of its own. So when, you know, I feel like it makes the tiny house happy for people to compliment it. However, I have been late to many things because I'm giving tours, because even if it's only a 30-minute tour, or even if it's only a 5-minute tour, it still gets me off track from what I was doing. And often people sort of stay outside taking photos and things like that, and it's really distracting from whatever I was doing. But I do give tours. Yeah. You must have so much more free time. This is a funny comment because that's what I thought too. I thought I'd have a lot of free time when I spent time in the tiny house, and partially because I'm still in school, so I'm studying full time, and partially because I am still trying to get the tiny house ready. All of that, and then combine that with trying to answer everybody's questions and make YouTube videos and make blogs and things like that. And I'm not a professional videographer. It takes me a long time to make these videos. I have to YouTube how to use different functions and things like that. So I'm using YouTube to make YouTube videos. It does take me a long time to post a video. Something like 8 or 10 hours, depending on the video. But it does take me a long time, especially if I have to do audio as well. So I do have less free time than I did before, but I'm much happier. And even when I'm miserable because I'm too busy and I'm exhausted, I still feel like my life has more meaning because I'm doing things that I love. So if I'm going to be miserable or just exhausted and delirious, it might as well be because I'm doing stuff I love. So I feel like I have a much more meaningful life since I got the tiny. Yeah. Since the tiny came into my life. What are you going to do with all your stuff? I actually wrote my response to this question because the answer is really long, but I wanted to make it concise. I would like to sell or donate most of my belongings. Most of my life, I have filled the emptiness that I felt with belongings, and while this isn't ideal, it did make me happier to fill my home with items I cared about. However, now that I have a loving partner, 4 loving animals, healthy relationships with my parents, my friends, professors, Jason's family, including his 2 daughters, and an incredible therapist and life coach / life coach, they're the same person, I feel that the things I own are detracting from the time I have with all of the incredible people I have in my life, and it is time to let go of things slowly but consistently. It is important for me to get rid of things, not extremely slowly, but maybe 20 or 30 items a week, instead of getting rid of it all in one day, because it does take time to figure out what you really need. So if I have 30 dresses and I need 2, which ones are the most versatile? So those are the things I have to think about that take time. What is our tiny plan? Jason and I currently don't live here full time. That was the goal, and the reason that it's sort of out of sync is because the tiny house was my plan and my goal, and I was not expecting to have someone in my life for so long. I was very lucky to have met Jason, and we've been together 5 years. It'll be 5 years, I guess, this summer. So 5 years and a few months. And I just wasn't expecting to have a partner so soon. And I had planned as if I didn't have to consider anyone else. I could easily move in May after I graduate from Chapman. I could easily move with my dogs and my cats anywhere I wanted, but Jason can't move that easily. He loves his job in Orange County, and he'd like to continue working there for a long time. So we're just trying to figure out how he could do that. I don't know if he could move sort of close by and go in a few days a week, or if we would, I don't know how we're gonna do it. So we're just exploring those options, but we do want to put the tiny house on a piece of land because I can get quite a bit of time off if I'm going to do my PhD program, my PhD master's combo program, and he can get quite a bit of time off of work because he works for just a cool company that gives him a bunch of time off, and he gets to spend a lot of that time with his kids, so it'd be nice to have his kids come and spend time in the tiny house with us. I know that's a whole nother thing, but this month we spent a lot of time at Saddle Mountain Ranch in Carmel, California. It is really nice here. We really love this RV park. We spent Christmas here. I came back for 9 days, and I really don't want to leave, but I miss Jason, so I'm leaving. That pretty much sums up all of the questions that people have asked me. I have answered more personal questions a lot through the comments, and a lot more on Facebook, very in-depth. People do message me on Facebook. It is easier to just put a comment below. It's easier for me to see it, and it's easier because other people can read the answers, but I am willing to talk to people individually if they have questions about the tiny house movement, or questions about building their own tiny house, or questions about tumbleweed. A lot of people help me get to the tiny house, like get to having a tiny house. Jenna and Ella were really the two people that I just knew I had to have a tiny house. I had to do the tiny house thing. And, I've been taking ideas from Jenna's blog for this tiny house. And Ella was the one who talked me into a composting toilet, because that had not crossed my mind before I talked to her. But here I am, and I love my composting toilet, although I still go to flush. I still put my hand, if I'm like not paying attention, right before I stand up, I go to flush, and then I realize that it's actually on the other side. Then I realized that there's no flush button. Yeah, but that concludes the questions. If you have more questions, post them below, and in the next video, I will answer all of them, but make sure to subscribe so you can see them. All right, bye guys.